Hiya, Martin here. I hope you're all well. Right, today, or what day is it? The 12th of August, and I'm just sort of beginning to get set up, ready to go on my own solo bikepacking tarping adventure, which I'm really looking forward to. But I think I'm going to hold on before I leave because it's raining a bit. So I think I'm going to hold on. The weather has mostly abated. The wind is, or the rain rather, is sort of going that way. There are a few other dark clouds on the horizon, but I'm pretty sure I'll miss those if I get a move on. So the Wahoo is my sat nav is all set up and ready to go, and all I need to do is get my tyres on the road. So I'm setting off again from Graffham Garden Centre and the Treehouse Coffee Shop. And I should be there in probably a couple of hours, hopefully. So I should be there for just after lunch. Well, no sooner am I a couple of miles out from the coffee shop, the heavens open again, so I'm just stopping beneath these beech trees to shelter from the rain a little bit. I'm still dodging the showers and I'm only like 3 miles from home, if that. But I am at least out in the countryside, and you can just see up there behind me there's an old disused railway bridge from one of the old branch lines that was shut down or dismantled in the 1960s. And it's just started thundering too. This is turning out to be a really interesting trip so far, but you know, there we are. This is a fairly deserted lane, to be honest. There's not much, well, there's no traffic at all, but there's a thunderstorm over there somewhere. Well, I've got to go up through those woods in a minute. So I've made it most of the way up the first big hill that I need to get up, and this is my first kind of off-road section onto a byway that is open to all traffic, and it's up there. Well, it's just 2 o'clock now, and I'm about 4 miles away, I think, from the campsite, which is great, and the rain has stopped. It's still very, very muggy. The thunder's gone away, and now all I've got to contend with is just drips coming off the trees, so I'm going to lose the waterproof in a minute. But I thought I'd stop here and just show you this absolutely gorgeous pond next to the road. It reminds me a little bit of Monet's garden. I don't know if it's a village pond or whether it belongs to that rather nice house back there, but it is really gorgeous. made it to the campsite. Only took me a couple of hours, and I've now got a flat tyre that I need to repair. I got a puncture about a mile and a half ago, so now I just need to repair that before I start setting up the tarp. And thankfully, it's also stopped raining, because it hasn't been a miserable trip down. It's just been a bit testing, I suppose. Right, now I've got the puncture repaired. I think it's, before I unpack everything, it'd probably be a good idea to talk about what exactly I'm carrying for this little trip. But on the front of the bike here, I've got a bar bag with a dry bag in it, and in there is my sleep system, which is the tarp, which you'll see in a minute, a bivy bag, sleeping bag, inflatable sleeping pad, and an inflatable pillow. And on the front of that, or attached to that and the bar extension, I've got my camera kit. So there's the Canon 750D, bits and bobs for the Crosstour 4K, external mic, which I'm talking to you on now. It's a wireless one, which is quite cool. Now if we look at the middle of the bike here, I've got a Roswheel Attack. The bar bag's a Roswheel Attack as well, and this is a Roswheel Attack frame bag, which is really cool because it's got a droppable, the bottom section drops down a little bit to give you an extra, I think it's 1.4 litres or something like that, and in there is primarily food, and there's a couple of other little bits, snacks and stuff in there, but there's all my food for the 3 days pretty much. Top tube bag, which is BT New or something like that, hard shell, phone in the top, and battery pack, charging leads, spare batteries in there. Now that's water resistant, it's not completely waterproof, but it does have a little bag that you can put over the top of it, which I have used today, and it's done the job, so I'm pleased with that. Oh, and there's a little hole there that you can pull your earphones out of, but I don't think it's a particularly good idea to be listening to music while you're riding your bike. Back here I've got the Roswheel Race feed bag, but in there I've actually got where is it? A little mini tripod and some loose change. That's my first aid kit, and then slung on the bottom bracket, or the bottom, don't know if you can see that, just there, that's the toolkit. I'm not sure how that's going to fare when it comes to taking the bike to bits to put the tarp up, but we'll see. And then finally what we've got is the saddlebag, and that's got spare clothes, cooking system, tonight's food that's in there as well. So it's got some spare clothes. It also has the waterproof in it that I've been wearing today, right at the top for easy access. My evening hat, neck scarf, dry bag, arm warmers, you know, that kind of thing. So that's all in there. Now they say this is 100% waterproof, so I was brave and didn't put my clothes in a dry bag, and just having a little rummage around in there, it does actually feel all dry. So I'm rather pleased with it so far. And attached to the outside I've got my mug, which is in desperate need of a wash because there's so much dirt on the road today. My towel is a how big's that? 120 by 60 centimetre purple microfiber thing. That seems to be quite good. And then bungee corded to the bottom of that is the tripod that you're sitting on at the moment, and a tarpy ground sheet thing. So that's about it for the bike. Let's get the shelter up, shall we? started raining. So now is a really good chance to get in, have a look around it and see just how waterproof it is, and I fancy a cup of coffee as well. So let's have a look inside. There's the sleeping bag and stuff, and thankfully the ground dried out a little bit just before I set it up, so there's quite a lot of room in here. There's the rear wheel as the well, the front wheel rather as the back pole, I suppose. I've also laid down a small tarpaulin for bags and stuff, and I'm just cooking up or boiling up some water for, I think, a well-deserved cup of coffee. It's 5 to 10 and it's time to go to sleep. I've pulled the door round at the front. I think you can see that. I've pulled it in so I've got some cover at the front because I set it up. I set the tarp up pointing straight into the wind, so I'll have a breeze coming in overnight, so at least doing this will reduce that somewhat. But I'm all kind of sorted. I just need to sort myself, take my boots off and climb into the sleeping bag and do up the bivvy bag and hopefully have a fairly warm night. So I'll see you in the morning. Good morning everybody. It's 6:45 on Tuesday morning. Had an alright night's sleep, I can't complain too much. A little bit chilly at times, but the bivvy bag really helped with that, although this morning the sleeping bag is a little bit damp because of that. I don't think this bivvy bag is as breathable as the review or the write-up online says, but hey ho. There's a little bit of condensation on the inside of the tarp, and that's probably because I closed the front of the tarp up, which I'm glad I did. So I've now got to think about hauling my carcass out of my sleeping bag and getting packed up ready to go on today's 22 odd miles. Right then, that's me packed up and ready to go from Upper Parsonage Farm to woodfire camping in Graffham in West Sussex, over the top of the hills over there. I'm almost at the top of Butser Hill and I've had to stop for a rest because it's quite a long way up. So I've just put the bike over there for a minute, and I'm just going to take a little while just to take a look at this absolutely stunning view. Butser Hill, and unfortunately there's no cycling sign there, but that's not a problem because my route doesn't go over the top of Butser Hill. And here is a very handy map. So we're currently, I can't see it, we're currently up here by the Butser roundhouse. There's the radio mast, so we're here. I just need to drop back down a little bit to here, pick up the South Downs Way, come back up a little bit, and then follow it down to the Queen Elizabeth Country Park Visitor Centre, where I'm going to get some breakfast, and then come down, back up, round the back, and then off along the downs. I enjoyed that run down there. That was an awful lot of fun. Now I just need to go along here, under the A3, and then it'll be time for breakfast. Well, that's a bit disappointing. The old visitor centre has been closed for refurbishment, which means breakfast will have to come from here. Let's go and see what they've got. Well, after thinking the cafe had actually closed for the time being for refurbishment, the very helpful young lady in the shop just a minute ago said that there's a big marquee that's got the it's got a sort of a cafe and a coffee shop in it, so that's where I am. I can have breakfast after all, hooray! And it is a good cup of coffee too. And I have to say, it is a fantastic place to come for families. When you get away from the A3 that you might be able to hear roaring around behind me, it gets really nice and quiet up the hill just over there. And in amongst the trees. There's miles and miles of walking, and there's mountain bike trails here too, and plenty of space for what are they called? Picnics. That's it, picnics. There are various car parks around the sort of the bottom of the park. There's the main car park that's over there, and then there's another two that way, and then another one further round, and they do all sorts of other activities here as well. It's a really good place to come. That's I was about to say it's Alice Holt. It's not Alice Holt, it's Queen Elizabeth Country Park. What a wally. Alice Holt's where I'm hopefully going on Thursday. I'll talk to you about that too. But really nicely managed. Most of the paths are sort of compacted gravel, and yeah, it's all good. Just waiting for my bacon, sausage and egg sandwich to come out. Right, well, it looks like I'm going to have to do a little bit of hike a bike and push it. A rather nice view over but there's also a statue of a sheep, and actually at the moment it looks like I'm on the Shipwrights Way, and that says Shipwrights Way, Hampshire Downs sheep like this one grazed the hillsides for centuries. They are still important today in helping to manage the beautiful chalk downland. Quite sweet. And I should pick up the South Downs Way again in in a little while. And it also appears that my selfie stick and my sunglasses have both gone missing. These signposts are really nice and clear. Now my route takes me that way, and that sign says you can walk it, cycle it, ride it, pony and trap it or motorbike it. And that one over there says you can ride it, bike it or walk it. Which is quite a good time to stop and show you where I'm going. That there is South Harting Down, and that is my next stop, as it were. I'm going to stop up there for a little bite to eat. I'm virtually at the top of Harting Down, and that down there is the village of South Harting, nestled into the Hampshire countryside. I've got to admit, this is much harder going than I thought it was going to be. I've done, what, just over 9 miles? And it just seems to have taken forever. But then I need to remember that I've stopped to do a bit of filming, and I stopped for breakfast, and I had to faff about trying to find my glasses. So perhaps it hasn't taken that long, but my word is it hard work. But at least now the rest of the route, as far as I can tell, is all on chalk paths and grass paths and stuff, so it shouldn't be that bad. Just on top of that hill over there you can see the radio mast, or the communications mast, of Butser Hill, which is where we've cycled from. It doesn't look very far, but believe me, it certainly feels a very long way. And this is just a beautiful
Across the ocean, I was trying to hide from my emotions, but now they're here to confront. Breathing in my name.
I'm on quite a steep downhill, and the route tells me I've got to go all the way that way and then come back up there. Just had to stop and show you this valley. It's full of sheep down the bottom. And now I've got to go down there, and then up the other side. I don't think you can see it particularly well. Oh, these hills are absolute killers. where the chalk's been trodden down smooth. There's no grip. Everything's really uneven until you get to kind of the grassy areas.
Simple as that. Try to make things just don't work anymore. I can't fake it. I am hurt to the core. And they're catching up.
I'm beginning to suffer now. This route is just relentless. It's a proper bone shaker. Loads of ups, loads of downs. In fact, there seems to be more ups than downs. I can't wait for a smooth road. It is just absolutely brutal. Well, for me it's absolutely brutal anyway.
Quest of my life, and the ghosts are always anxious behind. Oh, breathing in my neck, don't know what they want, but they're catching up nonetheless.
South Downs Way is really difficult, especially when you're not as fit as perhaps you could be or even should be, but I'm having a good day. I should have finished hours ago, but anyway, there's a standpipe just over there where I'm going to fill up my water bottles. The sun's still shining. The bike's still holding together. It could really do with a clean, but I've got a Diet Coke and ice cream, so all good.
Looking up at a tree, I remember how it started. I was lost in a dream when the fire in my heart said an open rose. I've already found sunlight, the feeling grows, and anything sounds alright. I'm breaking loose.
Look at this, it's road. Oh, amazing. Tarmac.
This year I'm going to start a new chapter. Ignore the tears and only write down the laughter. An open rose. I've already found sunlight, the feeling grows.
Okay, I've made it to tonight's campsite. Finally, it's been one hell of a day. I'll show you around the campsite in a little bit, but I'm just trying to utilise the number of pegs I brought with me because I didn't quite bring enough. Decided I'm not going to ride tomorrow because tomorrow's weather is supposed to be absolutely shocking. So I've decided I'm going to stay here for 2 nights and I want to make sure that I can get in and out of the tent with as little hassle as possible, because as you can see it is fairly low to the ground. Now you've already seen how the bike is supported. It's got this length of paracord here into the ground, which was poking out at an angle sort of opposite the fork in the ground. But what I'm going to do now, because I bought some spare stuff, is I'm going to run it from the seat rail, the saddle rail, through this loop and down to that peg, which means I've got a spare peg which I can use to help me batten down the hatches a little bit. And here is the adjustment to the bike stand. So there's the paracord running through the loop just to give a little bit of extra kind of safety. A variation on a trucker's hitch, and then down to that peg down there. And inside, I think I've actually done a better job of putting it up tonight than I did last night. So I just need to get me in. Sleeping bag and stuff's over there. I just need to get me in and have a bit of a tidy up, because I think I'm going to have a day in here tomorrow, escaping the horrific weather we've been forecast. Well, the tarp is almost completely set up now. I just need to have a little bit of a tidy round, but I'm absolutely starving, so I've got to have some dinner, and it is 10 to 8 after all, so it's definitely time for something to eat. And tonight I will be dining on chicken curry with potato and rice, again by Wayfarer. I haven't tried this one before, so I'm expecting good things, because all of the others I've tried have been absolutely spectacular. Now I'm really expecting the weather to be appalling tomorrow, so I think it will be a day in here. But I also think I might need to take a walk down to a local shop in the rain. That'll be nice. Morning. Well, I have to say, I think I made the right decision in not doing a ride today. I slept really, really well last night, as you would expect, I suppose, after yesterday's exertions. But now it is raining, as you can see and hear, and I think I made the right choice not to ride today. The tarp is holding up really well. I'm still dry. I've managed to have a shower. I managed to have a shower before the rain started properly. Having my breakfast and a cup of coffee. And now I think I'm going to hang out here for the day. And I don't know if you can see that, but the drivetrain really needs a clean. So it's just after 1 o'clock on Wednesday, and I've just come back to the tarp after spending a couple of hours down at the camp kitchen, having a cup of coffee with the lady owner Stella. Her hubby Griff is out somewhere with the boys, and I've just been down there sitting on a deck chair, stretching out my back a little bit, and put my my battery pack on charge and what have you. So I've just come back now for some lunch and a nap. Although I slept really well last night, I do absolutely love sleeping under canvas listening to the rain, so have a little nap this afternoon because I'm not going anywhere. Oh, the other thing I've done is I've changed my route home using Komoot. It's quite hilly, my route home, because I live sort of on a different part of the South Downs, so got more hills to do tomorrow, but I'm sure everything will be absolutely fine. I'm not going off-road tomorrow, it's going to be all on the roads just to get home. So I think maybe I would have done 80-90 miles over the last few days,
something like that, which is not to be sniffed at, and I'm looking forward to it really. It's been raining all day, and that tarp setup has kept me dry and warm all the time. I'm very, very pleased with it. And this is a little look around the site. It's not the best advert for this site, but yesterday it was lovely. And over there, amongst the low clouds and the fog, is the South Downs Way. So now I've just got to get ready for tonight. So I'm going to pack the bags up as much as I can tonight, and then get ready to load the bike up tomorrow and wend my weary way home. Not that I'm particularly weary, because I've done virtually nothing but sleep and nap all day and lie around on my backside. But there we are. It's been an interesting day, nice and relaxing, I suppose. Morning everybody. It's Thursday and I'm homeward bound. The weather's improved a lot. It's just after 7 AM as well, and I'm really happy to be back on the road, or rather back on a road. So I've got about 24 miles to do today, and I need to stop for some breakfast at a little town called Midhurst, which is really nice. So I'll stop for some breakfast there. I was going to have breakfast at the campsite, but they're not cooking today, which is a shame. So I'm just coming out onto the road. My lights are on, and I've got a nice smooth tarmac road all the way home. So I've got cheese, pickle and ham sandwich, some chicken bites and a selection of chocolate for breakfast, although I'll probably save most of the chocolate for the onward journey up until the next village. So I'm starving, so I'm going to eat this. I'm knackered, but I think I'm about halfway. But it's hard work this morning. And I've just come up a big hill, and just over there is the top of the hill, and then I've got a nice downhill run into a little village called Rogate. Okay, right, I've just stopped in Rogate, and I'm just sitting in the shelter of St Bartholomew's Church next to the A272, and it's just here that I turn off the A272 and head down some back roads to Liss. And there's a nasty hill on the way up to Liss, and there's a lovely descent down into Liss. And then from Liss home, it's pretty much uphill all the way. So I've just stopped at the local shop to get some more calories, and I should be home in a couple of hours, I hope.
just outside of Rogate, and this seems like quite a suitable place to stop, just to show you a bit of the South Downs. So cycled from there all the way across all of those hills, across all of those, and down over there somewhere. Just outside of Liss now, and just crossed over the old A3, and just about to start a really lovely descent into Liss itself. This headwind is awful. You can't go uphill, you can't go downhill. Oh, morning. Well, this is it. This is the final hill before I get back to the Treehouse coffee shop. I am absolutely knackered. I have walked up most of the hills today rather than biked up. I think, although I've eaten loads and loads of calories today, I'm still paying back a calorie deficit from the other day. Is that such a thing? I don't know, but anyway, this is the final hill before I get back to the coffee shop, and it's hot and it's very humid too. I'm not complaining, I'm just pointing it out. So, onwards up the hill. Sign up there behind me that says Garden Centre Treehouse Coffee Shop, that's where I'm headed. It's a couple of 100 metres down that road there. So let's go in a minute when this car goes past. It's been a really interesting 3 days. I haven't been in a particularly good mood today because of the headwind, but I've managed to push through it and get all the way here. Change that. I've managed to push through it and get all the way here in one piece. And now I've just got another couple of 100 metres to go, and I'll be there. There's the sign.
coming. Put the brake on. Slow myself down a bit. And that's it. And that's it. Treehouse coffee shop's just round the corner, just in there. Little garden to sit in over there. But I'm not going in there today. I'm going to stop my ride on my Wahoo and say that's a job well done.